everyone, it's me, Lisa, and today we're gonna get to, if we don't fall off the chair, another book review. The book in question will be Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing, a memoir by Matthew Perry. I have reviewed quite a few memoirs on this channel and I didn't think about reviewing this one specifically for this year in general, but I actually read it, so why not review it if I have it in my pouch. Matthew Perry, I wasn't aware, has actually gone through a massive story of addiction in the past, but as the person that he is, the whole memoir in this case didn't feel like the realization of a further truth, and didn't feel like when he actually got off the addiction he was actually feeling any good, or he did it for any specific reason. It actually felt a lot like he is not a good person, and that didn't take away from the fact that I liked the book, but he is not a good person, or a person that I would consider good, because he mentions the whole fact that he wanted to be famous, and the wanting to be famous made him actually greedy, and the only thing that he wanted ever was to be famous and blah blah blah. And so he decided to pray for himself to be famous, and ended up being famous at any cost. And the cost for that was health, all of the addiction that he went through, all of the terrible things that he went through that are listed in the book in very much detail, that make me absolutely certain of the choice I've made for myself to never approach anything related to drugs, because I actually think it's crazy and it can make you very sick and it's not worth it at all. And that in the book is explained over and over and over and over and over again. But he says that he didn't get off everything because he actually was about to die, because he went off everything for a kind of trivial reason and stayed off consuming those things, but he wouldn't have actually done it for his own health, because he would have always gone back to the substance. And that made me mad, because he auto-portrays himself as a very selfish person that now has millions and billions to spend over stupid things, including alcoholism. And so that, he says, made it even harder for himself to get off the substances, because he never was in a position where he couldn't afford them, which, okay, makes sense, but he actually benefited of his own privileges way too much and went on to wish for those privileges way too hard. So I was not happy about that, but overall all of that didn't take away from the fact that I did like the book, because I listened to it on audiobook, and Matthew Perry is one of the actors that I loved in my childhood. We had a little family thing that we did when we lived with my mum, and my sister and I would each have a night when we could choose what to watch, and one night for my mum, one for me, one for my sister, and we always chose Friends as something that we liked to watch, and that was because it was our favorite show. We always wanted to watch that back over and over, and we knew the episodes by heart basically by the end, and loved them so much, but kept going back to it because it was so heartwarming, and really is really linked to a lot of childhood beautiful memories. So Friends is a show that for me is my favorite. It will always remain my favorite despite all the other ones that I watch and love, because that one has a special place in my heart, so that is why. But overall, I think that that's the main reason why I enjoyed the book so much, because him talking about friends brought me back to those good memories and made me wish to have that comfort back. And so that is what made me love it. But Chandler is not the same person as Matthew is, because Matthew is Chandler but on drugs and selfish and not at all good like his character is. And I think that if I wasn't linked to that beautiful idea, I wouldn't be loving the book at all. But overall, because it was him, I loved it. And also because, of course, the fact that he read his own book made me go back to that beautiful memory, because I listened to his voice and his voice brought back everything that I liked about it. So of course that's why I loved it. But overall, the way it was written was not incredible. It was nice, better than many other books, but it wasn't incredible. And the things that I took away from it were not incredible. So I think that overall, it's as every case with those types of reads, except I'm glad my mum died, because that one is the one you should read. You should definitely go through it because it's amazing. But apart from that one, it's always about the, if you want to know more about one of your favorite actors or actresses, you should pick it up. Because overall it didn't leave me with much. And the thing that terrified me the most about the whole thing is discovering how many years Matthew was under substances and having to use substances to stay afloat basically, and the damages that he did to his own body and all of those things. And I would say that that was quite shocking to me. So I was glad to discover those things, but because he wasn't a good person, I didn't really feel sorry for him. It just came out of a place of wanting to have fun and wanting to be seen in a certain way, and then escalated. But because he didn't ever choose to actively get off of it, for me, didn't leave a good taste in my mouth, if we can call it as such. So this review is one of the most controversial that I ever made, because I didn't want to hate him, and I still don't, but still getting to know all of that side clashes so much with the person that I know. And I think it's that way with so many of the things and people that we know, that when we have a certain image of a person in mind, we don't want to change that image ever. And so we want the person that we know to kind of stay the same. And the person that Chandler and Matthew were in my mind was a person, and then getting to know the actual person behind it made it shake a lot for me. And I think that if it wasn't for his humor and the way that he read the book and the fact that it was an audiobook, if I had read a physical copy of it, I wouldn't have liked it. And I wouldn't have liked everything that he does and any account of the story, because I think that it's always the same case in those privileged person accounts of celebrities, like in the Emily Ratajkowski's case, that they want you to feel sorry for them. And they want you to say to them that you're sorry and they should never have gone through it. And that certainly is a sentiment that comes with it. But it's not backed up by the fact that every once in a while he's like, yeah, but I have 7 million to spend in psychologists, so I kind of shouldn't have done it, but I could, so I did. And I think that that's the tone of the whole thing. And why, by doing this review, I think I will downgrade it to at least 4 stars, because I gave it 5, because I think when I finished reading it, I was such on a high note of being able to get back to my childhood memories that I didn't really think about the book itself. But now that I'm rethinking about it and some time has passed, it went down. If I was to read, for example, Prince Harry's account, it would be the exact same. People that want themselves to be portrayed as the victim in the whole situation, but they are the ones that have millions, that make money off of you watching them, and that have things that we cannot even possibly imagine, such as mansions, a garage full of cars that will cost more than you will ever gain in your life. So I think that overall, this book I would judge as a privileged person account of a terrible situation that it is truly terrible, and I won't say it's not, but always with this underlying tone of superiority that goes through the whole book that makes it so much worse by thinking about it retrospectively. And I cannot sympathize with him as a person despite what he went through and the scars that he might have emotionally and physically because of this undertone of privilege that is embedded in the whole narrative. So I would say a 4-star just because it's him and just because it was a channeler of my dreams of my childhood. And if you pick it up, feel prepared to not like the person he is, because you won't like it, and if you do, good for you, because I don't know how you do it. But overall, I would say that this review didn't even come out as I would have expected it. I was expecting to say that I love the book and why I love the book, but then when I think about why I love the book, nothing comes to mind of the actual book. Everything that I love is things that have nothing to do with the book. So overall, I would say that maybe the same reason why you will love the book is my same reason, because there are some things that you love about the Friends series that he uses throughout the book to make himself more likable, and then when it comes to the actual things of his life, you won't at all like him as a person. So yeah, thank you Lisa for ruining the whole book for you. Oh yeah, no, a pleasure, no problem. I ruined it for myself by doing this review, so I didn't even know what to think about it. My god. This is the most surprising review that I did, probably, because I wasn't expecting this whole thing. So great. If you by any chance liked the whole book, please tell me how and why. And if you like Matthew Perry as a person, please tell me how. And if you didn't, share that in the comment too, because I want to see that I'm not the only person that picked up the book expecting a thing, loved it because of a thing that is in my mind, and actually review it as garbage. Perfect. Great. Oh my god, I'm still so surprised by the outcome of the whole video. So I really hope that you enjoyed my rumbles and my complete bafflement at the fact that I didn't like the book, even though I thought I did. And so without any further ado, I really hope that you will like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like this, and I really hope to see you all in the next one. Bye guys!